If you don't know, I am a semi-avid anime watcher, and one anime that I have kind of had an interest in for a really long time is One Piece. Now, One Piece is a good show, even though it has its flaws. It's very slowly paced. It gets really boring sometimes, but I'm here to talk about the video games for One Piece. Now, the video games are very, very disappointing compared to the show, and just don't give me the kind of experience that I want. An example of a One Piece game I played is a One Piece World Seeker. It was very disappointing when I bought it. It had an interesting concept of an open world One Piece game, but I would say the execution was very poor. They didn't really invent too much stuff. It had a good grappling system where you can like grapple on the trees and move around by like slingshotting yourself. That was pretty cool, but aside from that, nothing really too crazy was in that game. It was very boring. Just like gameplay wise, just spam X to talk to people and stuff. And then you had the fighting, which was terrible, and there was nothing special about the fighting at all. And you had the ability gauge to where you could use moves and shit like that. Very disappointing, very basic, And the storyline is terrible. I don't really remember the storyline. I remember it was a robot guy, and then his sister had green hair, and that's all I remember from the story. You know what I mean? And also, it doesn't support English, which, I feel like a mainly Japanese and English game should support English, just like every single Dragon Ball game ever, you know what I mean? So, I don't really know what the hell is happening. It's just like lazy, I guess. But that is kind of One Piece. It's like, I wouldn't say One Piece is lazy, but it's very like slow-paced and boring, and doesn't put too much effort into shit unless it's like a big thing. But I feel like a video game is a big thing, you know what I mean? So, like One Piece World Seeker, very, very disappointing in that regard. Another game is One Piece Burning Blood, kind of like a fighting style like Naruto Storm, but it's very lazy again. No English as well, and it's also like I think every single character on there has like 4 different moves. The movement just looks goofy, it feels stupid, and it's just not very fun, like the custom controls aren't very fun, like custom games and stuff, and the story mode is just lame as hell, you know what I mean, because it's like trying to get you to do these impossible combos that I don't even think they programmed for you to do, because it's like, I remember you have to do like a transition and switch. Like, why would you make a fighting game where like the turn point of a game would be switching and bitching out to another character, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's kind of weird. But One Piece Burning Blood, very, very disappointing. When I downloaded it, I thought it was going to be like a Naruto Storm situation, like I said, but it was just so like disappointingly mid. Then you got One Piece, I believe Pirate Warriors, I think is what it's called, but it's very like it's like a mass fighting game where it's like you just beat up mass hordes of NPCs, and that's all. You go through the story of One Piece just fighting just massive amounts of enemies as, not even the characters you want to play, but sometimes mid characters, and it's just another very boring and lazy type like mass fighting. There's a game that's like called Something Dynasty that it's kind of like, but it's just very unoriginal, very boring, no English as well, not One Piece game, not one One Piece game has had English, and it's just very, again, mid. Then you have One Piece Odyssey, which came out semi-recently if I remember correctly, but it was a turn-based like thing, like fighting thing, I'm not really sure what to call it, but again, it was just very like lazy looking, very just not entertaining at all, because everybody hyped it up as being this huge game, and then it came out and it was just this terrible turn-based stupid ass fucking chess type of game. It's just like, who wants to play games like that nowadays? Like, we're not stuck back in the fucking early 2000s like twiddling our thumbs at some Final Fantasy bullshit. Like, for me, I want to be able to control everything I do type shit, so I don't understand why it's so hard for these One Piece developers to just wrap around the fact that their games suck and they need to like actually get their shit right. Like, copy what they did for Xenoverse and then try and do that, but in a One Piece way, make it original, make it anything that's not what you have done, you know what I mean? And yeah, that's all the One Piece games I've played. Sorry this is kind of a short video, but I just done got a lot of time right now. School's been kind of stressing me out and stuff like that, so I'll see you tomorrow, guys.